Imagine this. An individual stands in a crowded room. There is a person they deeply desire, someone with endless options. Yet, the desired person's attention keeps returning to the individual. Why? It's not fortune. It is because that individual is employing a sinister psychology, a hidden knowledge that bypasses logic and targets the deepest, most primal need for emotional security and unpredictability. This is not about wealth or appearance. This is about mental dominance. This is the dark blueprint that makes the desired person choose them, even when every rational factor suggests they should walk away. This is not mere theory. This is the psychology of influence at its most ruthless. Welcome to Dark Psyche. Today, we open the sealed files on the sinister psychology that makes any woman choose them. We will reveal the 5 core psychological triggers that override judgment and establish the individual as the ultimate, non-negotiable choice. But before examining these tactics, know this. These tricks are currently being used by manipulators everywhere. Understanding them is the only defense. Stay until the end, because the final technique, the principle of manufactured scarcity, is the most dangerous. And once its mechanism is seen, one will never look at attraction the same way again. Let the descent begin. This journey starts with the unavailability trigger, which exploits the human desire for scarcity. People value what is rare and fear losing what is hard to acquire. The manipulator's goal is to establish themselves as an emotional luxury, not a necessity, creating a foundation of dark value. The brain registers what is easily available as low value, creating boredom and complacency. By demonstrating selective unavailability, not just physical absence, but emotional absence, the individual triggers a pursuit response based on psychological reactance. This principle ensures that the removal of a choice makes that choice exponentially more desirable. For example, consider the person who possesses a deep internal life who sometimes delays communication or declines a request because they are engaged in a personal mission. This simple act of prioritizing self-purpose over immediate attention sends a powerful, non-verbal message. My time and attention are valuable and must be earned. The other person chooses the manipulator not out of love, but out of respect for those boundaries. If one suspects they are on the receiving end, they must recognize inconsistent communication patterns. The defense is self-sovereignty. Never allow one's emotional state or schedule to be dictated by the perceived scarcity of another person's attention. Next, we examine the echo chamber effect. Traditional advice promotes complimenting and uplifting others. The sinister truth is that people are addicted to validation of their own internal struggles. This tactic involves the manipulator identifying the other person's hidden, negative self-perception and validating it, but from a position of deep understanding, not judgment. This creates an immediate, deep, and often uncomfortable bond. When the manipulator names an unspoken fear or a secret flaw, for example stating, "One tries very hard to seem strong, but I see the quiet sensitivity that is so fiercely guarded," they are effectively saying, "I see the real you, the broken part, and I'm not leaving." This offers a profound sense of psychological safety that is far stronger than any superficial praise. It replaces the need for compliments with the need for deep, dark communion. The desired person is choosing the manipulator because they have become the confidant and witness to their inner darkness. This unique sense of being truly seen becomes irreplaceable. If one is being targeted, they must understand that validation is not trust. When someone exposes one's flaws, the individual must check their intent. Are they using this intimacy to build reliance or to create a dependence? Maintain emotional distance until their consistent actions match their profound words. Our third sinister tool is the pigeon effect. This is drawn directly from behavioral psychology, specifically the research into variable ratio reinforcement. If a reward is given every time, predictable attention, the desired behavior eventually diminishes. If a reward is given randomly and unpredictably, the pursuit behavior becomes an addiction. The brain releases dopamine not upon receiving the reward, but upon the anticipation of the reward. By varying their attention, sometimes the manipulator showers the person with deep, focused interaction. Other times they are coolly distant. They turn the relationship into a psychological slot machine. The targeted person is constantly initiating contact, hoping for the next big reward. For example, after a fantastic, intense conversation one night, the manipulator is civil but focused entirely on their work the next day. This creates a psychological vacuum. The targeted person's mind is forced to work. What did I do wrong? How can I get back that intense feeling? The reward, the manipulator's attention, is now controlling the targeted person's behavior. The targeted person chooses the manipulator because their brain is now wired to pursue their validation. To counter this, one must observe the pattern of randomness. If the affection is only high when the manipulator needs something, or follows an erratic schedule designed to keep the other person guessing, one is being manipulated. Choose consistency over intensity. The fourth tactic is the framing of imperfection. Perfection is uninteresting. Vulnerability is power. This tactic involves the strategic revelation of a controlled flaw, a flaw that is not debilitating, but relatable and intriguing. The manipulator frames this imperfection not as a weakness, but as a unique, dark feature of their personality. This is about lowering the guard. By presenting a controlled flaw, for example, stating, "One gets intensely focused and sometimes forgets the outside world," the manipulator creates an illusion of honesty. This signals to the desired person that the individual is safe because they have nothing to hide. Paradoxically, this controlled vulnerability makes the manipulator appear stronger, as it suggests self-awareness and comfort with one's own shadows. Instead of concealing past mistakes, the individual mentions one, but quickly pivots it to a lesson in ruthlessness or self-mastery. They are turning a perceived flaw into the origin story of their present strength. The desired person chooses the manipulator because they want to be part of the person who tamed the monster inside himself. If one is being targeted, they must be vigilant. The moment a person uses a flaw to excuse current bad behavior, for example, "I'm just a messy person, that's why I lied," one must disengage. A genuine person seeks improvement. A manipulator seeks to legitimize their actions through a flaw. Finally, we arrive at the principle of manufactured scarcity. This is the ultimate closing move, establishing the manipulator as the irreplaceable option. It uses psychological contrast. The goal is to make the desired person believe that the manipulator is a specific blend of dark understanding and controlled. Unpredictability is a finite resource only available through them. The manipulator subtly introduces the idea that they cannot be replaced. This is achieved by showing, not telling, that other people are constantly seeking their time, wisdom, or attention. This triggers the desired person's fear of loss, FOMO, and the aversion to regret. The brain calculates. Losing this person means losing this unique emotional experience forever. A calculated, yet gentle statement like, "We connect on a level that most people don't even understand. It's rare, and I don't give this kind of energy to many people." This creates psychological scarcity. The manipulator is not begging. They are defining the value of the commodity, their deep, dark attention. The desired person doesn't just choose the manipulator. They invest in the relationship out of a deep-seated fear of losing the one thing that truly makes them feel seen and challenged. This is how the manipulator moves from being an option to the only choice. If one feels an overwhelming pressure to commit or invest because the other person has framed themselves as the last good option, pause. True, healthy connection is abundant, not scarce. Run from manufactured urgency. One has now walked through the shadows of the sinister psychology from making oneself scarce to manufacturing irreplaceable emotional connections. Remember, the true power here is not the manipulation itself, but the knowledge of how attraction works at a deep psychological level. The choice remains. Will one use this knowledge to exploit, or will one use it to defend oneself and understand the forces that govern human choice? The darkest truth is this: human desire is not logical. It is a primal hunger for intensity and meaning. The person who offers the most intense emotional reality, whether good or bad, is the person who will ultimately be chosen. If one is ready to use this knowledge for self-mastery and to understand the unseen forces that shape life, then they should join the Dark Psyche community. Subscribe now and tell us in the comments below, which of these 5 psychological triggers has one seen employed by others? Stay vigilant, stay powerful,